The night was quiet, the kind of silence that only happens when the whole world seems asleep. The streets were almost empty, save for the faint hum of streetlights and the occasional rumble of a distant truck. At the corner of a small auto repair shop, tucked away from the main road, Daniel wiped the grease from his tired hands. He was a mechanic. Poor by the world's standards, but rich in heart. Life had never been easy for him. His days began before sunrise and stretched long past sunset, fixing engines, patching up tires, and charging just enough to get by. But Daniel never complained. He knew what it meant to struggle, and he carried his hardships with quiet dignity. That night, after closing his shop, he sat on the wooden bench outside with a thermos of lukewarm coffee. He was about to lock up and head to his tiny rented room when he heard it, a faint sound, like someone crying for help. He turned his head toward the road. There, under the dim glow of a flickering lamp, stood a car, sleek, expensive, clearly not from his neighborhood. The hood was popped open, steam rising from it. Beside it stood a girl, no older than 22, dressed in clothes that spoke of wealth and comfort. She looked completely out of place in this part of town. Her phone flashlight trembled in her hand as she tried to look into the engine, panic written across her face. Daniel stood, debating for a moment. He was exhausted, his hands sore from a long day's work. But something inside him wouldn't let him walk away. He knew that feeling of being stranded, helpless, and unseen. So he grabbed his toolbox and walked over. "Need some help?" he asked gently, his voice breaking the stillness of the night. The girl spun around, startled. For a second, her guarded eyes studied him, his oil-stained clothes, his tired but kind face. "My car, it just died," she said, her voice trembling. "I don't know what happened, and my phone battery is about to die too. I don't even know how to, She stopped, overwhelmed. Daniel gave a small reassuring smile. "Don't worry, let me take a look." Within minutes, he was under the hood, his practiced hands moving with confidence. The engine had overheated. It wasn't a complicated fix, but it would take some time. As he worked, the girl paced nervously. "I shouldn't even be here," she murmured. "I was at a friend's place across town, and I thought I could drive home. My mom would freak out if she knew." Daniel chuckled softly. "Cars don't care where you're from or who your mom is. They break down whenever they please." His calmness eased her, and soon, she found herself watching him closely. There was something about the way he worked, focused, patient, unbothered by the grease that smeared his shirt, that felt grounding. Half an hour later, he wiped his hands. "All right, she'll run now. But don't push her too hard tonight. Get it checked properly in the morning." The girl's face lit up with relief. "You saved me. Thank you." She reached into her purse and pulled out a crisp $100 bill. Daniel shook his head. "No, keep it." Her brows furrowed. "But you fixed my car. You should take it." "I didn't help you for money," Daniel said softly. "Just promise me you'll drive safe." The girl stared at him, stunned. In her world, nothing came without a price. Yet here was this stranger, offering kindness with no strings attached. She gave a small nod. "My name's Claire," she said. "Daniel," he replied with a smile. She hesitated before sliding into her car. "Thank you, Daniel. Really." With that, she drove off into the night. The next morning, Daniel returned to his shop, ready for another long day. He didn't think much about the girl. He'd helped strangers before and moved on. That was just who he was. But fate had other plans. Around noon, a black luxury car pulled up outside his garage. Daniel paused, wiping sweat from his forehead. From the car stepped Claire, dressed elegantly this time, her eyes searching for him. "Daniel," she called, walking quickly toward him. He blinked in surprise. "Claire, everything all right with the car?" She smiled. "Yes, it's fine, but I told my mother about you." Before Daniel could respond, the driver opened the door, and a woman stepped out. She was poised, commanding, the kind of presence that filled a room even in the open air. Her tailored suit, her polished demeanor, everything about her screamed wealth and power. Claire rushed to her side. "Mom, this is Daniel, the mechanic who helped me last night." The woman's eyes fell on him, sharp yet unreadable. For a moment, Daniel felt exposed, standing there in his grease-stained overalls. Then her expression softened. "You're the man who helped my daughter?" she asked. Daniel nodded humbly. "Yes, ma'am." Just fixed a little issue with the engine. Nothing major. But the woman's gaze lingered. Something about him seemed to stir an old memory. Daniel, she repeated slowly, almost to herself. Yes, ma'am, he replied politely. She took a step closer, studying his face. Then, with a breath that caught in her throat, she whispered, You're Margaret and Joseph's son, aren't you? Daniel froze. He hadn't heard those names in years. His parents had died when he was a teenager, leaving him to fend for himself. How do you know my parents? He asked cautiously. The woman's eyes welled with tears. Because they once saved my life. Daniel's heart pounded. His mind scrambled to connect the dots. She continued, her voice thick with emotion. Years ago, when I was pregnant with Claire, I was in an accident on a rural road. It was your parents, two strangers in an old truck, who pulled me from the wreck, who drove me to the hospital. Without them, neither I nor my daughter would be here today. I never forgot their faces. And now, here you are, their son. Silence fell between them. Daniel's throat tightened. He had grown up believing his parents' sacrifices went unnoticed by the world. Yet here stood living proof that their kindness had rippled forward in ways he never imagined. Claire clutched his arm. Daniel, do you realize what this means? You helped me last night, just like your parents helped my mom all those years ago. It's like destiny came full circle. Daniel could hardly speak. The weight of the moment pressed on him, not in burden, but in awe. The woman, Claire's mother, reached for his hand. Your parents gave me the gift of life. And now, you've protected my daughter when she was vulnerable. I owe your family a debt I can never repay. Her voice broke, and for the first time, Daniel saw not a powerful businesswoman, but a mother, grateful, humbled, deeply human. Claire's eyes shimmered as she looked between them. Mom, maybe this isn't just chance. Maybe this was meant to happen. Daniel felt a lump rise in his throat. For so long, he had carried the burden of being just a mechanic, unseen and overlooked. Yet in this moment, he realized that kindness has no social class. His parents' legacy had found its way back to him, not in money or status, but in something far more profound: connection, gratitude, and the unshakable truth that good never goes unnoticed forever. And as he stood there, surrounded by the echoes of the past and the unfolding of the present, Daniel knew his life was about to change in ways he could never have predicted.